Issues in Kikumbuyu, Makueni. Lack of rains, problems with access to drinking water, high level of corruption which prevents people from receiving government, NGO help, high level of teenage pregnancies with little support, very little support for children and adults with disabilities, limited support for elderly people who have no relatives to rely on, deforestation. Shortage of seeds, fertilizers and pesticides, shortage of livestock starters, chicks, access to affordable financing, youth unemployment rate, greater than 20%, self-employment rate, less than 8%, families living below poverty level, greater than 64%, kids attending primary, secondary school, tilde 1,400 families struggling with school fees. History of Hilfe Kenia EV. Founded in 2009 in Hamburg, Germany, relocated to Kempten, Germany in 2010, moved permanently back to Kenya in 2011. 2011 purchased small drilling rig to drill boreholes. Rig failed after 2 boreholes beyond repair, supported several HIV orphans through school, provided food to groups of orphans, organized bicycle races for the community, with motorcycles and bikes as prizes, organized soccer tournaments for youth, built home for single mom, organized big fundraising for COVID relief and supplied hundreds of households with food and water. Previous and current funding. Donations from family and family friends. Received donations from German companies which were used for tombolas during African festivals in Germany to raise funds. Issue. Donors of even small amounts expected to get full-fledged reports on what was done with the money, which made the whole fundraising inefficient. Consequently, we decided to use our own funds for the different projects from 2012 to 2021. 2021. Discovered YouTube as a means to create transparency. Consequently, donations from different individuals around the globe, including Kenya, plus a high percentage of personal funds. Goals of true kindness. Provide transparency for donors, raise awareness for the needs in the area, generate donations to be used for the different projects, provide short and long-term help for needy individuals, families and the community, eventually establish a community farming and skill center, to be explained later. Support through true kindness. By March 2022 provided, documented, support to 100 individuals, families and schools with food, clothing, wheelchairs, living quarters, cash, mattresses, water, healthcare, stock for retail, school meals, environmental care, payment of school fees. Issue. Most of the help is immediate short-term help which does not contribute to a long-term improvement of the situation. Required. Continued short-term support. Supply of food and water for individuals and families in need, payment of school fees, continuous support for orphans, teenage mothers, elderly and people living with disabilities. Long-term help. Drilling wells. We feel that the creation of additional, strategically placed freshwater wells is the only way to reduce the people's reliance on donated water, especially for schools. However, drilling wells is very expensive and success is not always guaranteed. Therefore, while we support the idea of creating boreholes, we rely on individuals to support such projects, rather than making it one of our group's main priorities. Long-term help. Paying school fees. We find that the youth in rural Kenya still feels a responsibility to care for the well-being of their whole family. Providing a good education to them will enable them to, later on, generate an income which will benefit the whole family. We also find that school fees are the first thing that doesn't get paid by families if money is scarce. This in turn means the children's education is the first thing to suffer. The payment of school fees will not only aid in the above 2 bullet points, but it also will allow the families to use their money for food and water and possibly the establishment of a small business. Long-term help. Fencing schools, planting trees. We find that deforestation has a huge impact on the climate and the community. Although the government provides seedlings for people to plant trees, the effort is often in vain because of wild animals destroying the seedling. We feel that planting trees at schools could have a quadruple impact. Raising awareness for the importance of environmental care among students, improving the skills to care for plants and trees, providing much-needed shade to the school, providing fruits for consumption. One basic necessity, however, is that the school properties are fenced to keep the seedling safe. Long-term help. Access to support programs. We find that there is a high number of government or NGO-sponsored programs available that aim to enable the rural residents to become self-reliant. For example, there are different programs to help people to achieve an income through chicken farming. For students, there are also programs to aid them in achieving a higher level degree. Most people don't know about those programs, or if they do, they are not able to take advantage of them due to corruption. Our aim is to research what programs are available to then ensure that people actually are able to access them, using legal support if required. Long-term help. Small business support. We feel that teaching individuals the skills necessary to run a small business and supporting them during the startup phase will not only benefit the individuals themselves but also the whole community. Support could be given in the following area: researching business ideas, creating a business plan, profit, loss projections and calculations, support in acquiring financing, help finding a location, help with the initial stock, equipment, marketing help, skill training. Long-term help. Community farm. We are envisioning to create a 15-acre community farm. The farm will be run by the community itself, and the produce is for their consumption to make them more self-reliant. Any excess produce can be sold to finance the farming efforts. Things to be grown, raised: fruits, vegetables, livestock, poultry, fish. As an additional benefit, the community will also be able to acquire skills and knowledge of new techniques which will further aid them in their quest to provide for themselves and their families. Long-term help. Skill Center. We find that even youth with high-level education is unable to find employment. We feel that teaching them practical skills, which enable them to start their own businesses, would be a more sustainable approach. We, therefore, aim to create a skill center to educate in the following trades: business management, mechanic, metal working, welding, electrical works, plumbing, automotive, motorcycle service technician, woodworking, construction computing, butcher, baker. The center also would offer different workshops on beneficial topics like aquaponics, biogas generation, water filtering, water pumping, irrigation, the building of efficient stoves. For children, it also could provide skill training during the school holidays. The facilities could remain accessible to the graduates to aid them in starting a successful business with a minimum requirement of investment. True Kindness. Hilfe, Kenia EV. Is seeking support from individuals, companies and organizations to make the above outlined strategies a reality. Thank you in advance for your support and be blessed.